Hello, my name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome my lovely Form 2 students in our biology session, and we are currently proceeding with the solving of the Necta series for the year 2013. Welcome. Today's question is question number 4 for the year 2013, and the question Roman A starts that, what is classification? Roman B lists the 4 advantages of the fungi, and the C outline 2 disadvantages of the fungi. My lovely Form 2 students, before we answer our question, first of all, we have to be familiar is where our question has been constructed. This question for Roman A, this has been derived from our topic of the classification for Form 1, where we discussed on the concept of the classification, types of classification, and the advantage, binomial nomenclature, and so forth. So for those who have not yet read or studied this particular topic of the classification of living things for Form 1, you are mostly welcome to subscribe it at Educare Media for full packages so that you can widen up your understanding. And for question number 4, Roman B and C, this has been read from the topic of the classification of living things again for Form 2. Also, it is available in our media. Just subscribe so as to get the full packages. So, in order to answer this question or this number 4 question, you are needed to have a full understanding concerning the topic of the classification of living things for both Form 1 as well as for Form 2. Now, welcome to answer our question. By starting with question number 4, Roman A. This question number 4, Roman A, we need you to define on the term classification. So once you talk on the classification, as we discussed in our session, that this is a process of grouping and sorting organisms according to their difference as well as the similarity. Meaning that the organisms that tend to show the similarities, example, by reflecting the evolutionary relationship. Once you talk on the evolutionary relationship, here we see or we describe this organism which have the common ancestry, or those which have the same ontogeny, or which have the same origin. So the organism which having the same origin, by looking the internal genetic material makeup, are classified to the same group. Also, other characteristics is by considering on how they perform a varieties of the chemical processes like respiration, gaseous exchange, nutrition, movements, the excretion, and the variety of the characteristics of the living things. So we see on how they reproduce, either are they reproducing sexually, and by which means are they viviparous or viviparous. Also we discuss on those. In terms of excretion, we see which kind of the nitrogenous waste do they excrete. Are they excreting the ammonia? Are they excreting the uric acid? Are they excreting the urea? Are they excreting carbon dioxide as nitrogenous gases, and so forth. So this is all about the classification. And the question, Roman B, you are needed to state the 4 advantages of the kingdom fungi. Within the kingdom fungi, we see that the kingdom fungi, one of the greatest characteristics of the members of the kingdom fungi is that they lack the true leaf shoots as well as the roots. Also, they lack the vascular tissue. Example, the representative members of the kingdom fungi, there is the mushroom, which belong to phylum Mycota. There is the yeast, which belong to the phylum Ascomycota. Also, there is bread moldy as well as the Muca. So these are the examples of representative members of the kingdom fungi in shortly. So now, after knowing these members, example of the representative member within the kingdom fungi, now let us discuss their advantages. So the question is you to list only 4 advantages of the kingdom fungi. My lovely Form 2 students, once you are told to list and you have been given a limit on the number of points you are needed to give, make sure that you stay connected to this direction and rules and regulation to ensure that it does not give the extra point. You can give only 4 points. Make sure that you provide only 4 points to ensure that you avoid that consuming all the time. Na vile vile una avoid that giving the kuweza kureduce ile tedious kwa msaishaji. Amekwambia provide 4 point, just provide a strong 4 point ili uweze kuensure kwamba unapata all 4 marks. writing a essay just a page for 2 marks is not a good manner. Vile vile it is not a very interesting. So because this is a science, just make sure that you go straight to the point, you follow what has been given, what has been asked. So katika swali letu tumeweza kuuliza tuweze kuprovide only 4, make sure that you provide only 4 points. So here mimi naweza kupatia the extra points, but for you as kama una attempt the question, make sure that you follow the guidelines. So the first point is that saprophytic fungi are important in the decomposition of the dead organism. The saprophytic fungi, example these which tend to grow on dead organic matters in the mossy place. Example the mushroom, they tend to grow on those dead organic matter. That's why we call them the saprophyte. They tend to absorb the nutrients from those decayed plant and animal tissues. So they tend to they are important in the composition of dead organism. Therefore, they ensure in the recycling of the nutrients into the environment, vile vile katika cleaning of the environment. The second advantage of the members of the kingdom fungi is yeast which belong to the phylum Ascomycota. Katika topic yetu ya respiration tumediscuss in detail, ni topic ya form 2 gaseous exchange and respiration. Kama hujaisoma, you're mostly welcome to subscribe it. Tafuta topic ya gaseous exchange and nutrition, ya gaseous exchange and respiration ya Tadukia Media for full packages so that you can widen up your understanding. Katika anaerobic respiration tumeona kwamba anaerobic respiration that involve the breaking down of these glucoses in the absence of oxygen in plant inatokea katika this yeast cell ambayo inasaidia katika fermentation, and the ending product ni katika production of the alcohol. So huyu hapa yeast ni fungi, kwa hiyo inasaidia katika fermentation process. Na vile vile yeast kwa mfano majumbani vinatumika vile katika bakery. Anatumika hapa ni hamira, kwa mfano katika raising of the dough, kwa mfano wale ambao wanakanda mandazi wanatumia hamira ili kuweza kumua that ule unga na mtu kuweza kupata greater yield, tofauti na pale asipotumia hamira. So the yeast is used to ferment various types of the carbohydrates in order to produce the alcohol. Vile vile some types of the fungi, for example, mushroom, are used as a source of the food. Vile vile there are some species of the kingdom fungi, example the mushroom which belong to phylum Basidiomycota, ambao ni edible and act as a source of the food. But not all the mushroom are edible. There are some which are toxic. Also, fungi are widely used in genetic engineering and research. Fungi vile vile hutumika katika genetic engineering pamoja na researches for different biological findings. And yeast also is rich source of vitamin B pamoja na protein. Yeast vile vile ni rich source of the vitamin B pamoja na protein. Vile vile some types of fungi are used in the production of antibiotics, for example penicillium. Penicillium also belong katika that phylum Ascomycota, anasaidia katika production of this medicine like by antibiotic, anasaidia katika reducing the elevation of the pain for these people who are suffering either from the headache. Vile vile yeast cell are used in the production of lactic acid and citric acid. Vile vile yeast cell anasaidia katika production of this lactic acid ambayo inasaidia katika kwa mfano wale ambao wanagandisha maziwa this yogurt. This lactic acid inasaidia katika kuweza kuprovide that sour taste. Vile vile fungi has been used to control pests that cause damage and disease to agricultural crops. Fungi vile vile wanasaidia katika controlling of these pests that cause damage and diseases to agricultural crops. And the last one, some fungi are used in the dairy industry to favor the cheese. So vile vile kuna baadhi ya fungi wanatumia katika this dairy industry, sana nimesema katika yogurt, katika kuweza kuongeza ladha hiyo ladha ya uchachu. Na the last one is outline 2 disadvantages of the fungi. After seeing those advantages of the fungi, what now are the disadvantages of the fungi? So by starting with the first one, the parasitic fungi cause diseases in plant and animal. There are fungi which are parasitic, meaning these are the organism or we tend to feed on other organisms, not only feeding but also they tend to infect that particular organism. So they tend to cause diseases to plant as well as the animal. Fungi ni fungus. Sikia mtu amepata fungus ya miguu, fungus ya wapi. So these are the disadvantage of fungi. Vile fungi produce poison called mycotoxin, ambayo in case kwa mfano for this mushroom, kuna some mushroom which are not edible. So kuna wanakupo na hii hapa sumu, in case mtu akiingesti anaweza kapata madhara. Vile some fungi destroy food, example bread mold. Example, kichukua mkate wako, kuweka katika mkate kama unakuwa una ile moisture, ukiweka katika hiyo hata katika chombo chako, just acha kwa siku 2, utakuta kuna fungi ameweza kudevelop pale ambao tunaita ni black bread mold. Ile fungus ni mweupe, kwa anapelekea katika spoilage of the hata chakula chako tu, just ukikiacha hata kama ni papai, umeacha tu pale ina moisture pale, just acha kwa siku 2, just 2 days, utakuta kuna madude meupe yameweza kugrow pale. Ile pale ni bread mold. Kwa hiyo tayari mpaka pale inaonyesha kwamba hiki kitu tayari kimeoza, it can't not be consumed. So inapelekea the spoilage of the food. Vile some fungi attack the timber used in building house and making the furniture. Example, bracket fungi wanapelekea kuharibifu wa these trees which are very essential for making a variety of the furnitures. And that was all about the question number 4. The question number 5 for the year 2013 stated that, what do you understand by the term laboratory? Roman A. What do you understand by the term laboratory? A. Roman 2 stated that, outline 4 qualities of a good laboratory. And Roman B for question number 5, mention 1 function of each of the following apparatus. First one is petri dish, second one is mortar and pestle, third one is handless, and the last one is thermometer. My lovely Form 2 students, this question has been derived from the topic of the Form 1 in that topic of the biology laboratory. It is available at our media, so in order to widen up your understanding for those who have not covered this particular topic, you are mostly welcome just to subscribe and search it at Educare Media Biology Laboratory, which is the Form 1 topic. You get the full packages in this particular topic to widen up your understanding. Now, by starting with the Roman A, which is laboratory. My lovely Form 2 students, I know that you are familiar with the laboratory. Tunazungumzia maabara. This is an area where the different this is a special room which has been designed for conducting scientific experiments. Because the question has not been classified that give the definition of the biological laboratory, the chemistry laboratory, physics laboratory. All scientific experiments are performed within the laboratory. And this laboratory, they tend to differ. There is biological laboratory, there is chemistry laboratory, as well as the physics laboratory. But the question just needs to give the general meaning of the laboratory. So don't confuse. You have to give the meaning of the laboratory, then you give the definition of the biological laboratory. Just to give that general meaning of the laboratory. So, once we talk on the laboratory, this is a room or building specifically designed for carrying out biological and scientific experiments. So this is a special room that has been specifically designed for carrying out biological and scientific experiments. The question, Roman 2, you are needed to state the qualities of a good laboratory. What are the qualities that any laboratory should meet? We know that the laboratory is different from other school facilities, like library, classroom, and offices. So there are features which needed to be made so as for that special designed room needed to meet to be called a laboratory. So this as follows. So the biological laboratory should have different qualification or criteria so to perform an experiment. So the qualities of a good laboratory. The first one, by having the good laboratory, should have a adequate space. Lazima maabara iwe na nafasi ya kutosha kwa ajili ya kuweza kuwezesha wanafunzi kuweza kuperform their practicals, their biological experiments freely, ili kuweza kuavoid ile mgongano na accident. So it is important to allow students to carry out experiment effectively. It also facilitates free movements in the laboratory, hence reduce the chance of accidents. Either wengine amegongana hapa, kwa lazima pepo na nafasi ya kutosha for the free movement. Kwa mfano, the variety of the biological laboratory like this of the food samples which involve the movement. Mwingine ataenda huko akapime this starch, mwingine anaenda kupima protein, mwingine anaenda kutest lipids. So kuna kopo na movement, wewe ameenda kuchukua hii sample, ameenda kuchukua hii chemical hydrochloric, mwingine akachukua copper sulfate. mwingine akachukua Sudan 3. So they are variety of the movement. So in case kama utakuwa na adequate space, nafasi ya kutosha, ile free movement itakuwa ni very favored na wanafunzi wanaweza perform their experiment more effectively and more freely. Another qualification is proper lighting. A good laboratory lazima iwe na mwanga wa kutosha. So this helps students to see instruction, warning signs, safety symbol, and label reagent bottle and procedure to carry out in the experiment. You can't get a laboratory kwamba kuna giza. Lazima pepo na mwanga wa kutosha wanafunzi, kwa sababu within the laboratory there is used the apparatuses, chemicals, reagents. So there must be a large amount of the light, adequate amount of the light of light, ili wanafunzi waweze kusoma the instruction on how to use the chemical sign, waweze kuzi-identify so as to ensure the safety while they in the laboratory. Also, the laboratory lighting should provide enough light without causing harmful reflected rays, which can be distracting. Another qualification of the biology laboratory is good ventilation. Lazima pepo na hewa ya kutosha. Madirisha yawe makubwa yenye kupitisha hewa. So, this help in the circulation of the air and removal of the fumes and gases to prevent suffocation. Take an example, una perform a biological experiment that involve the emission of the gases, like the emission of the ammonia. Kwa mfano katika practical ya liver, unapokuwa na unatesti ile the deamination process na how the liver do perform the deamination process. Unakuwa na the removal, the release of the ammonia. Ammonia, this is one of very toxic gas. Lazima pepo na elafu space kuweza kuensure the circulation, good circulation of the air in the laboratory, kuweza kuavoid that suffocation among the students. So this protects the laboratory user from exposure to toxic substances. So good ventilation inasaidia katika kuweza protect this student, laboratory technician, biology teacher from exposure to this toxic substance. Also, another quality of good laboratory is a source of water. Lazima pawepo na maji, because since we are performing biological experiment or scientific experiment, lazima pawepo na maji kwa ajili ya kuweza kuosha apparatuses, kwa ajili ya kuweza kuosha specimen, kwa ajili ya kuweza avoid that contamination. So, water is used as a solvent for boiling. Vile katika these practicals which involve the heating. So, water is used as a solvent for boiling, washing and cleaning of laboratory apparatuses as well as and the specimen. Also, a laboratory water should be pure and clean to avoid contamination that may compromise the research test and affect laboratory users. And another qualification is a source of heating. Lazima pawepo na source of heating, kwa sababu your practicals inakuwa involve boiling. Kwa pawepo na source of heating, either mostly inatumika ni basen burner. So a reliable source of heating is needed to ensure successful experiments. For example, heating water pamoja na reagent. Another is adequate storage room. Lazima pawepo na adequate storage room kwa ajili ya kuweza kustore apparatuses, specimen pamoja na chemicals. So this is used for keeping apparatuses, chemical, biological model pamoja na specimen. So that is all about the qualities of a good laboratory. The question number 5, Roman B. You are given a list of the apparatus which are used in the laboratory. Now you are needed to give the function performed by each apparatus. So the first one is petri dish. So the petri dish, this is used for growing organism. Example, maabara kuna kwepo na growing of these microbes. Tunakuwa tuna grow bacteria. Tuna grow katika this petri dish. Ndio tunakuwa tuna grow wale tunaita ni culture. Tunakuwa tuna grow the bacteria. The process inaitwa culture kwa ajili ya experiment. Vile vile kuna mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle ni kama kibakuli pamoja na kama kitwangio. Hapa inasaidia katika crushing of the solid substance katika powdery manner. So the mortar and pestle, the mortar and pestle are usually used for crushing a solid substance. So these are the function. Also nyingine ni hand lens. Lens kazi yake kubwa ni katika magnification of the specimen which cannot be seen by the use of this naked eyes. So inasaidia hata kuweza kukuza, na this part inaitwa ni magnification. So the hand lens inaitwa ni hand kwa sababu it can be, unaweza kaibeba tu mkononi mwako kwenye mkono kawaida, kaitumia normal tofauti na microscope. So hand lens, this is used to magnify small organism or they are apart in order to observe them clearly. And the last apparatus which is used in the laboratory is this thermometer. Thermometer, this is a tool used to measure the temperature. Tunatumia thermometer itakuweza kupima the temperature. The last question is question number 6 for the year 2013. Question stated that the diagram below represents the trophic level in the ecosystem. Study it and answer the question that follow. Umepewa hapa chini kabisa kuna A, ya pili kuna B, C, D na E ndio final. Maswali, mention a trophic level represented by each letter in the diagram. Letter A, B, C pamoja na E, as you see A, B, C, D na E. Na another question B, why do the trophic level form a pyramid shape? And the last question is state the role of the organism in the trophic level represented by the letter E in the diagram. Tukianza hapa kufanya swali letu, this question has been derived from our topic of the balanced of nature, na katika ile concept yetu ya interaction between organism, ambayo tunaona kwamba the organism tend to interact in several numbers of ways, ambapo kuna predation, kuna camouflage, kuna variety, kuna symbiotic relation, kuna variety of the form of the interaction. So this is where this question have been derived. For further understanding, subscribe our media, tafuta topic ya balanced of nature kwa ajili ya further understanding. So let us answer our question without consuming our time. Katika swali la kwanza tulihitajika tuweze tukaelezea, tuweze tukalabel. Tunaenda katika diagram, the anayepatikana sana at the bottom waga ni producer. Kwa A ana represent the producer. Example kuna grasses pamoja na shrubs. Vile vile B, these are the primary consumer, these are the herbivores, this organism we tend to feed on the grass or on the plants. C, these are the secondary consumer, these are the organism these tend to feed on these herbivores, these are the carnivores ambao wanakuwa nakula nyama kwa wanyama wenzao, kwa mfano lion. Alafu D hapa ni quaternary, tertiary. Example kuna human beings ambao wenyewe wanakuwa nakula both wanakula nyama pamoja na plants. So these are the omnivores. And the hapa ana represent decompose, example bacteria. So kazi yake ni katika decomposition. So this is how this diagram is being labeled. Na swali tunaweza kuuliza katika kipengele kwamba kwa nini tunapokuwa tunapanda juu the shape unaona hapa chini kwa ni pana, afu tunapoendelea inakuwa inapungua, inatengeneza pyramidal shape. Kwa sababu as we move higher the number of organism tends to decrease. As we move to the higher trophic level the number of organism tend to decrease. Ndio maana inakuwa inatengeneza this pyramidal shape. So why do trophic level form the pyramidal shape? So tumeshafanya swali letu la A ambapo A ni producer, B ni primary consumer, C ni secondary consumer, D ni tertiary, F E ni decomposer. Roman B asema the trophic level is pyramidal shaped because as you move up the trophic level energy, biomass or number of an organism tend to decrease. Ndio maana inatengeneza pyramidal shape. And the last one, state the role of organism in the trophic level represented by the letter E in the diagram. Letter E in the diagram alikuwa ni decomposer au bacteria. Kazi yake katika decomposition of dead plant and animal remains was to ensure that they convert these nutrients back to the atmosphere. This nutrient which has been contained with this dead plant and animal tissue, they tend to be recycled back to the atmosphere, to the environment for further uses. So zinasaidia katika nutrient circulation. An example ni bacteria. So up to now, my lovely Form 2 students, that mark the end of our enjoyable session. Hope that you have gained the concept. For further learning, please keep on subscribing Educare Media for other updates concerning the biology. I love you all. Have a nice moment.